Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 11 start and sit video for the running back position. If you guys have not already, make sure you check out our start and sit video for the quarterback position. And of course, if you guys do have questions for your lineup, and maybe if you're doing trade questions, hit us up in the comments down below. We will be able to give you the best advice we possibly can to help you guys out. Now, there are 4 teams on a bye, so make sure you pay attention to that. Obviously, a Thursday night game. Not a great game. It's Titans versus Packers. We'll see how that plays out, but make sure you guys pay attention to that. And then, of course, these are your obvious starts at running back. I've got a lot more options here that I believe should be starting. I've added players like Pierce in there, right? He's been phenomenal. Obviously, you got your standards, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Barkley, Kamara. There's a lot of really good running backs that should be starting this week, no matter if it's a bad matchup or even if it's a good matchup. You start them. Now, the first running back I recommend as a good start is going to be Brian Robinson versus the Texans. Finally, Washington used Brian Robinson, who they hyped up all offseason, and he actually performed really well. Texans allowed the most points to running backs with 32.4 points and over 150 rushing yards. On top of that, they allow an average of a touchdown per game to the running back. B-Rob has just had a great game against the Eagles. He's putting up 86 rushing yards, a touchdown. And on top of that, this is a really good matchup for Antonio Gibson as well. Gibson has really done a good job. Gibson still put up 15 points, even with Brian Robinson being the, I would say, RB1. I think this backfield is more of an 1A, 1B type of scenario between B-Rob and Antonio Gibson. So even if you have Gibson, I think he's still a good matchup. Obviously, Brian Robinson, I think, is going to be a better matchup. But the fact that the Texans allow that many yards, and this is going to be a close game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout between either team. So this is going to be where they're going to utilize their backs efficiently. So I like both of them, but like I said, I have Brian Robinson a little bit higher. Another running back I like is Devin Singletary versus the Browns. Singletary had a good game this past weekend with 2 touchdowns. He only had 47 yards, which isn't obviously phenomenal, but those 2 touchdowns helped. And a lot of times you don't know what they're going to do in Buffalo. You really don't with those backs. James Cook could be utilized. Obviously, Singletary could be utilized. You're not really sure. And of course, you got big old Josh Allen, who can run the ball just as efficiently as most running backs. So I don't talk enough about weather in these games a lot, and I really should play that factor a little bit more to kind of help give you guys some more insight, to give you guys the best advice. Look, it's getting colder out there. We're expecting some snow in this game, about 1 foot to 2 feet, which is a big deal, especially in any type of defensive standpoint. Defense struggles typically in the snow, where obviously offense usually they know where they need to go for the receivers. The running backs have a little bit better grounding. It makes it a little bit tougher defensively. With that said, I think this is going to be a good game for both running games. So obviously Nick Chubb and Devin Singletary. That's why I have Singletary as a good start this week. Browns also don't do a great job at stopping the run. So this is a game I really see him shining. And again, that snow is going to play a factor. Obviously, the team's going to make sure they do the best they can to get rid of as much as that snow off the field. They'll keep it down, but again, it's going to be a fun game to watch. Ramondre Stevenson is my other running back I recommend this week. He's going against the Jets. Last outing, Stevenson had 21 points. Most of that was through the air. He had 7 receptions. He did have 71 rushing yards. And the Jets really do a good job against the running back. They actually typically stop the run pretty well. But where Stevenson does thrive in is the passing game. And I don't see that changing for him this week. Even if they're behind, Ramondre Stevenson benefits. If they're not, Ramondre Stevenson still benefits. So I like him this week against the Jets. Now, my first running back I have as a sit. It's going to be James Conner versus the 49ers. 49ers are the best against the run, holding back to only 17 points combined and under 63 rushing yards. 49ers recently just held Eckler to 13 points. Now, Cardinals will obviously use Conner more, especially since Benjamin's gone. They are going to obviously introduce Ingram, Keontae Ingram in this game. I think that's why they got rid of Enos. They want to see what the rookie's all about. Conner's ability has always been the red zone. That's what he's made him a great fantasy back, is that he's typically a very, very strong red zone back. But unfortunately, the Cardinals have not performed very well to always get to the red zone or get that goal line position. So a lot rides on that, how efficient that offense is. James Conner is not a back that's going to outrun a defense. And again, depending on how this game plays out, Ingram might get a little bit more game in this, where he's going to get more receptions, get some more snaps. Again, try to see what he's capable of. Okay. And the 49ers have only allowed 4 touchdowns on the ground, period. So it is a tough matchup. I don't like James Conner this week. Another running back I don't like this week is DeAndre Swift, and I've been so high on DeAndre Swift all season, and then the injuries occurred, and unfortunately he's not been the same. The Giants have done a great job against running backs. They have held them to 19.4 points, which is fourth best in the league. They also only allow 2 receptions per game as well, which is where Swift does a phenomenal job at, is in the passing game. And like the 49ers, they've only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns as well. They recently just held Dameon Pierce to 14 points, Kenneth Walker to 12 points. So this is a really tough matchup for DeAndre Swift. Now, injury is occurred right now. Obviously, with Jamal Williams, there's a questionable tag to him. He should play, which still plays a factor in Swift's ability to really touch the ball as many times as you like. And typically when they get near the red zone, unfortunately, Swift gets put to the bench. Jamal Williams comes in. So hate to say it, but Swift is a guy I'm not feeling comfortable with. Last guy is Michael Carter versus the Patriots. Carter's tempting only because obviously the injury to Breece Hall, but James Robinson was traded. Played a little bit of a factor there. Michael Carter tends to be the running back that gets most of the snaps and shares. James Robinson still has not quite put his fingerprint on this offense yet, but the Pats did give up 10 points to Michael Carter, and that's it, 10 points. So it's not like he's going to perform like crazy. And the Patriots actually do a really good job against the run, only allowing 17.4 points and only 84 rushing yards. They also allowed only 1 back to hit 100 rushing yards all season, and that was Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is obviously a pretty good running back. And the most points ever scored against the Patriots was 15 points. That was Khalil Herbert at that one of the good games that he had. So it's not like you're going to see a high point game. You'll probably see, like you saw the last time Michael Carter played the Patriots, 10 to 12 points. That's about it. And in PBR, that's not even maybe a deep league, a flex play, but as far as you're starting running back 1 and 2, I don't think he's worth even putting in there. Now, my only sleeper I've got really this week is Cordell Patterson versus the Bears. Now, I know a lot of people are hesitant to run Patterson in the start due to what happened last week. He had a great matchup. He essentially didn't exist. I think he had 4 touches in that whole game. They used Huntley, they used Algier. And with that said, I will say this. If the Falcons do want to have a chance to make the playoffs, because there's always that chance, right? The way this NFC South is, Patterson needs to be utilized. And this is where a game I think he can get back into it. The Bears are not great against stopping the run, especially to backs who can catch like Patterson. I mean, as far as performance goes, they do allow a lot of receptions. Look at players that are known pass catching backs that they went up against. Bears allowed Pollard 33 points, Ramondre Stevenson 23 points, Dalvin Cook 26 points, Aaron Jones 32 points. So if there's going to be a game that I think Patterson can finally get back, because again, remember guys, he came back from an injury, so that might have played a factor in last week. But if they're going to try to make the playoffs and try to be competitive, they have to utilize him. And this is a game I still feel pretty confident in him. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 11 for the running back. If you guys do have questions, again, hit us up in the comments down below. That's what we're here for. We're trying to give you the best advice, to give you the best advice to make the right decision. I will give you recommendations. You know your team best. You know what players you have. Let us know, and we'll help you out. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And of course, if you really did enjoy, hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. We're absolutely growing this community. You guys have been fantastic, and I'm super excited to see what the future entails. It looks like for us, obviously, we're here to help give you guys the best advice, help you guys win some games. Check out our start and sit for the quarterback. Stay tuned for a wide receiver and tight end start and sit video, and I'll check you guys out next time.